Hola chicos, Profesor Street aquí con otro video. Este es sobre capítulo número 3, pasos 2 y 3, los comparativos y superlativos, comparatives and superlatives, right? So let's get right to it, right? Look at our text here. We have some books. Looks like work textbooks, Amaya and Ernesto, right? Yo tengo más tarea que tú. Yo no tengo tanta tarea como tú. No. Yo tengo tanta tarea como tú. Pero tu tarea es menos difícil que la mía. Menos difícil, mi tarea es más complicada que calzoncillo de pulpo. So what are Amaya and Ernesto arguing about? Well, it's pretty easy. Tarea, right? Homework, right? Who thinks he or she has more homework? Well, Maya thinks, she says, tengo más tarea que tú. More than you. That's our comparison. That's what we're doing today, right? So, more than you. Más que tú, right? What words does Ernesto use to say as much as? No, yo tengo tanta tarea como tú. As much as you. I'll get into the formulas for these very shortly, right? What words does Amaya use to say less than? Pero tu tarea es menos difícil, less difficult than la mía. Remember la mía from the last video? The possessive pronoun, right? Mi tarea versus la mía, right? Remember? Okay, so guys, we'll see comparisons is all about formulas, right? Language and math intersect in a lot of different ways, right? The more you can think about the concepts, and I've been preaching since day one, you can really start to get these concepts, and then you just plug in what you're comparing and then use the corresponding thing that you'll see. I have a couple of cool graphics, one that I use with my students at the University of Virginia that I hope helps you as much as it helps them. Okay, vamos. So getting right to it, I think this is pages 112 and 113 in the MindTap book. But also just use the table of contents. It hyperlinks right where you need to go. Comparisons of inequality are used when two people, animals, or things have different amounts of something. To express more than, we use más que. And you'll see the categories on the left. Adjective, adverb, noun. So it doesn't change for any of the categories. This is the formula. Más, whatever you're comparing, que, right? And then the other thing. Mi perro es más cariñoso que mi gato. My dog is more affectionate than my cat. Mi perro come más rápidamente que mi gato. The first one, we're comparing an adjective, cariñoso. Now we're comparing an adverb, rápidamente, quickly, right? Now let's do a noun. Mi perro tiene más energía que mi gato. My dog has more energy, so it doesn't matter, right? And if we do more this way, we're going to do less this way too. That just makes sense logically, right? Okay, so to express the idea of less than, we use the same thing. Menos, adjective, adverb, noun, and then que, and then whatever else we're comparing, right? So mi gato es menos inteligente que mi perro. Less intelligent, adjective, right? Adverb, mi perro duerme menos tranquilamente que mi gato, right? Adverb, peacefully. Mi perro tiene menos juguetes que mi gato, a noun. Now, it's always más que, menos que. However, exceptions, right? We do this in English too, right? To say older or younger, it's menor que. Yo tengo, mi hermano is menor que yo. My brother is younger than I. Mi amigo is mayor que yo. My friend is older, right? La clase de español is mejor que la clase de historia, right? La tarea en la clase de español is peor que la clase de historia, right? So there's a couple of little exceptions to the rule there, but for the most part, más que, menos que. Okay, so that's the inequality, right? This is where it gets a little bit more tricky when we do comparisons of equality with nouns, adjectives, and verbs, right? So comparisons of equality are used when two people, animals, or things have the same amount to something, as much or as many as, right? So this, let's start with nouns. It's the one that changes the most, right? So I guess that's why they started with this. So again, we have a formula. This is all very formulaic, right? So we see what we're comparing. Always see what you're comparing. Carlos tiene tantos hermanos como yo. So what are we comparing? Hermanos, a noun, brothers, right? So Carlos tiene tantos hermanos como yo. Hermanos is plural and masculine, right? So it's tantos, right? Carlos tiene tantos hermanos como yo. Very good. If it were hermanas, it would be Carlos tiene tantas hermanas como yo, right? As many as, right? So good. To compare adjectives and adverbs, or to express the idea as old, as good as, etc., as well as, right? We use tan como. So it changes. So again, going back to knowing what you're comparing, right? Mi perro is tan viejo como mi gato. Alisa juega al tenis tan bien como su hermano, right? So we're comparing an adjective in the first one, so we use tan viejo como. We're doing an adverb well, casi tan bien como su hermano. Alisa plays tennis almost as well as her brother, right? So we have tanto, tanta, tantos, tantas, noun como, right? Tan como for adjectives and adverbs to compare a verb like the rate of study, right? Yo estudio tanto como tú, right? So remember, know what you're comparing. Is it an equality? Then that's más que, menos que. If it's equality, then what are we comparing? Nouns, adjectives, adverbs, or verbs. Very good. Okay, vamos. Here's what I do for my students at the University of Virginia that seems to help. There's some categories here, right? See what you're comparing. An equality, right, on the left. So you see all the categories, adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and verbs. Más que, menos que, of course with a couple of exceptions, menor, mayor que. Equality, just look at the chart, right? Tan como for adjectives and adverbs. Tanto, tanta, tantos, tantas for nouns. And verbs is tanto como, right? So look at the examples. Juan is más alto que yo. That's inequality, right? Juan's more tall or taller than Elena. Mi hermana es mayor que yo. This is a más que, but this is one of the exceptions. Yo tomo tantas clases como mi amiga. So what are we comparing? Look, nouns, classes. So look at our chart, sustantivos, right? So it's feminine and plural, so tantas. Lisa estudia tanto como yo, right? So Lisa estudia tanto como yo. What are we comparing? The rate of study. So Lisa estudia tanto como yo. Equality. Hablo el español tan bien como mis amigos, right? Again, equality. What are we comparing? Adjective and adverb, so tan bien como. Good. You guys feeling okay so far? Okay, vamos. Vamos a practicar. Entonces, vamos a practicar. This is from the book. So let's see. What are Alicia and Cassandra like? Complete the comparisons with the most logical words and phrases from the list. So look, let's see what we got here. It's going to fit in somewhere, right? Alicia is un año blank Cassandra. What's going to work? Mayor que, right? Cassandra tiene blank hermanos como Alicia. We have como in there, so we know it's going to be one of the T ones, right? And look, what are we comparing? Hermanos, right? So it's plural, it's a noun, it's masculine, so tantos, right? Tantos hermanos como Alicia, right? Alicia toca la guitarra, blank Cassandra. What are we comparing? The ability to play the guitar, right? As much as. So Alicia toca la guitarra tanto como Cassandra. Cassandra is blank athletic que Alicia. We have que, so we know it's either going to be más or menos. We don't have más up there, so menos atlética que Alicia, right? Alicia no is blank extrovertida como Cassandra, right? We have como, so Alicia no is, it's a adjective, right? Tan extrovertida como Cassandra. Muy bien, chicos. Okay, vamos con parte número 2. Los superlativos, right? To say, express the most of something. We have Leopoldo and Ramona and talking about some cats, right? ¿Cómo son tus tres gatos, Ramona? Cada uno es diferente. Garfield es el más perezoso y el más gordo de los tres. Condesa es la más bonita, tiene los ojos grandísimos. Silvestre es el menos inteligente, pero es el más cariñoso. Son parecidos a mis tres hermanos. Which of Ramona's cats is the laziest? Laziest, perezoso, right? So Garfield is el más perezoso. This is to say the most, right? He's the most lazy, the laziest. What about the prettiest? Condesa is la más bonita. What about the least intelligent? Silvestre is el menos inteligente, right? Good. What do the cats remind Leopoldo of? They remind him of mis tres hermanos, right? Remember possessive adjective, mis tres hermanos. What phrase indicates that someone or something has the most of a particular quality? Right? So look, grandísimos. I'm going to get to this fun word to say in a minute, but it means the most, absolutely to the extreme, right? Spanish can play with word derivatives and endings like that, diminutives and things of that nature. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's get to los superlativos. Superlatives are similar to comparatives, but they're used to express extremes within a group, such as the tallest, the least playful animal, best dormitories, worst classes, right? So again, this is a formula instead of más que, menos que. Look at the structure. Garfield is el más gordo de mis gatos. So we have el, because Garfield is masculine. We have what it is, right? So más gordo, right? Más in the adjective, right? Of a group, de mis gatos, right? Felicia is la chica más cariñosa de su familia. The reason they have the chica in parentheses is because we don't necessarily need to say chica. We can say Felicia is la más cariñosa de su familia. Felicia's nature implies that she's feminine, right? So we can just say la. Saying la chica is not incorrect, right? To indicate that someone or something has the least of a quality, so we could say just the same, but with menos. Carlos y Elisa son los menos seriosos de todos, the least serious of all. These irregular forms are also used with definite articles to form the superlative. So we have el or la mejor, los or las mejores, right? Just like we did, mi amigo is, él es mi mejor amigo, right? Or la clase es mejor que, right? El or la peor, los las peores, and mayor, mayores, menor, menores. Mi amigo is el mayor de su familia. Mis gemelas son las mayores de este grupo, right? Mi hija Sophie is la menor de la familia. Sophie's the youngest in the family. The family's the group, right? So remember, very formulaic, just like the other ones, right? Think about the category. What are we trying to express? We're going to have a little practice here in just a minute. All right, so another kind of superlative is the absolute superlative to express the idea of very, very, or extremely. This is formed by adding to an adjective the new ending that matches the gender number of a noun. Ísimo, ísimas, ísimos, ísimas, right? If the adjective ends in a vowel, drop the last vowel before adding the ending. Mi gata condesa tiene los ojos grandísimos, right? It's a fun word to say, right? The largest to the most extreme. My cat Condesa has the largest eyes. Okay, vamos a practicar, chicos, con los famosos. You guys don't know me very well, but I love rap. I'm from Louisiana, right? I love rap and I love sports, right? So let's see what my opinion is on these people here. You're free to follow along and express your own opinions if you don't agree with me. I would love to hear a different perspective, right? So look, we have Gucci Mane and Lil Wayne, Rafael Nadal, the Spanish tennis player. Serena Williams, so the super famous tennis player. Cardi B, and Beyonce. So, ¿quién es la más guapa? En mi opinión, Beyonce is la más guapa. Okay, here's the big one. ¿Quién es el mejor rapero? I guess you heard me say I'm from Louisiana. I think you're going to be surprised with my answer. En mi opinión, Gucci Mane is el mejor rapero. I've listened to the whole catalog of both. I prefer Gucci Mane, right? ¿Cuál tenista es el or la más famoso or famosa? Bueno, Serena is la tenista más famosa, the most famous, right? ¿Quién es talentísimo or talentísima? En mi opinión, Cardi B is talentísima. What about you guys? What do you think? Are you in agreement with my opinions on who's the prettiest, the best rapper, the most famous tennis player, the most talented? I'd like to hear you say what you think. Okay, let's wrap up. So, comparisons, figure out equality or inequality. What's the category? What are we comparing? Noun, adjective, adverb, or verb, right? And then use the corresponding formula to say the most or the least of something, el or la más de, right? And then the group, right? Keep working, guys. We're almost finished. You're doing so well. Y hasta luego. Ciao.